So normally when I'm at the gym, I'm looking for a life lesson, right? And today, one of the homies just gave me one on a silver platter, one of the gym bros. Now, I asked him, what is his blueprint to success? In my eyes, he's a pretty successful guy. And he had really humble beginnings. He didn't inherit his success. And he said, Austin, is super simple, but it's not easy. And I said, what is it? He said, get rid of all your vices. Now I'm thinking, cool. The first thing I think of is drugs, alcohol. And he said, nah, bro. He says caffeine, sugar, validation, anything you run to for comfort when life gets tough, get rid of it. And I was like, huh? He said, because vices only give you temporary authority. His exact words. He said, weed feels like peace, but it fades. Alcohol feels like confidence, but it fades. Caffeine feels like fuel, but it fades. Now, I can resonate with this because I've been trying to get off of caffeine for a long time. I recently got off of caffeine, and I will always say, I'm going to stop drinking caffeine, but whenever I would get a dip in my energy, I would run back to it. He said, that's why most people stay stuck, because they got 100 crutches around them, and they're not bad things, but when you depend on them, it fogs your clarity. And he says it puts you in this conscious sleep. You're awake, but you're asleep, and you're not really all the way conscious because you're depending on outside vices to give you inner authority, to give you strength. And he says when you strip it all away, you stop seeking validation and you start living from your inner authority. He says stop outsourcing that stuff, bro. He said pain literally keeps you alert. He said, Austin, when you're hungry, you're more alert. But when you're full, when you're comfortable, you're not as aware. And he says, Austin, in this world, most people are walking around dead, half asleep, talking about one day being alive. But they don't recognize they are alive. They're just choosing to live a dead life, right? And he said, pain isn't punishment, it's presence. He says, vices blurs vision.